Hello, nice to see you once again. Last week you did such a nice job on your Van Gogh sunflowers. I was so impressed with the big bold sunflowers, the texture you put in it, the wonderful colors you chose. You did such a great job. And you know that after school I was walking down your hallway and I realized the walls are lined with reproductions of Van Gogh paintings. All along the walls, I saw my favorite paintings, and there, standing in the doorway, was Mrs. Peliquin, and she was wearing a Van Gogh Starry Night mask. So we're going to celebrate by spending another day with Van Gogh, and this time we're going to take a look at his beautiful Starry Night painting. It is filled with such wonderful texture. It really gives you the feeling of what it's like to look up into the night sky. In fact, I'd like you to do something for me this week. One night when it's clear, go out with your family when it's dark. Tip your head back, look up at the stars. And if you're like me, you'll feel like you're in the middle of a Van Gogh painting. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to make your own Starry Night so you can have a beautiful picture to put up on your wall or keep in your sketchbook. Stay tuned. Okay, so here we are. To make your own Starry Night painting, you're going to need the following things. Your sketchbook, your new set of oil pastels, a planning pencil, a paintbrush, your new paints, and of course, a cup of water. And like I said before, I like to put my cup into a pan or a box with a paper towel or a sponge so I can rinse and dab it. If you have a larger baking pan at home, you can fit the paints right in there, and that will make it very easy to clean up later, and you won't worry about making a mess on your dining room table. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do, as I said, we're going to take our sketchbook. Instead of doing it long ways like this, called portrait method, we're going to do the landscape arrangement. So I am going to take my planning pencil and I'm just going to lightly sketch in some ideas. So in the Starry Night, Van Gogh featured a big tree in the foreground. When I was a little kid, I actually thought that was a flame until I went to France and I saw trees that look like this. They're cypress trees. You can make a cypress tree or you can make a Vermont tree if you want. So I think I'll make a Vermont maple tree. So I am going to take my pencil and just lightly put some shapes on the page to give me an idea. Helps me figure it out. Okay, so I've got my big tree close up. It's going right off the page. And then Van Gogh had those wonderful hills. So I'm going to do the hop over trick and do a wonderful hill. Okay, I hopped over right here because I loved that tall church steeple he showed, so I'm going to do that. Right now I'm going to put some of the little buildings. You notice in the Starry Night he has all these buildings down here that are lit up. You can see the town. So let's do that. And I'm going to make sure I leave some lights on. I'm just getting my shapes in there. You can do it lightly. I'm pressing down so you'll be able to see it. I noticed too, he's got some sort of swirly lines here. And the wonderful thing about the Van Gogh painting are the wonderful swirly shapes that run through it. The moon is very important. Put that moon in there. And then he has some spinning stars. I'm doing that so I remember to put them in. Okay, so I'm going to open up the oil pastels. Again, I'm using my old set. You guys have brand new ones, so mine is looking a little worn out, but it works just fine. I think I'm going to start with that tree in the foreground. Okay. I am going to press down really hard because I want texture. Okay. I'm just doing my lines first, then I'll fill in. And I don't want to make it all one color. Van Gogh rarely used just one flat color. He did a lot of blending, dabbing, adding more color. Here's a light brown I can add. Okay. And as you notice, when you put one color over the other, it can make a new color. But I want lots of different shades of brown in my tree. And I am going to make it go right down to the bottom, because if I do that, it looks like it's close to people. That's called the foreground. When it's up close, it's in the foreground. Okay? Now, I'm going to do my hills. And I think I will start with a blue, I guess, to outline my hills. So that's in the background. So now I'm going to do the hop over trick. Hop over my steeple, and there are my hills. Okay. So what colors am I going to use down below? Well, Van Gogh used some very dark colors. So let's see if I have a dark blue and maybe a black. And I am just going to start putting in some color. I think what I'll do next, before I start filling in the color, is to do my buildings, because if I don't, I'm going to forget them. The sky was so vast and the village was so small. Okay, and I want to remember to turn the lights on, so I am going to put the lights in right now. Be like Van Gogh and have a light on the windows. And now I'm going to get started. What I'm going to do is put this video on to fast forward, because I don't think you want to spend all your art time just watching me make pictures. So you notice how I'm putting on different lines. I'm going to have different lines and texture, and then I am going to be filling those in. I think I'll put in one of my swirls right now. I just changed my mind on that swirl. I think I will make sure I don't forget my bright moon. I'm going to outline that right now. Then I'm going to fast forward this video so you can see how it's done, and I'll meet you back here later. Okay, so I'm finished with my oil pastels. I've put them away. I have saved out a little white one because I want to make sure I go back and put some white swirls in there. They're not showing up now, but you wait. They will show up in a minute. So our next step is to do like we did last week and add paint on the background. I've got my box with my cup of water and my new paints. So I will probably use mostly blue, so I'm going to get the blue wet today, and I might use a little white as well. Maybe the yellow, so I'll get that ready. I might use a little green down below, so I'm going to do that also. All right, so if I get those wet, my colors start to dissolve and it works much better. So I'm going to just brush this over. Let's check how light it is. It's not a bad color. Maybe I will use it like that. And I am going to go over this with my paint. And you notice it doesn't stick where I have the oil pastels. It resists it. I'm still careful to go a little bit around the edge of my stars because I don't want to cover them completely. And if I notice it's covering up more than I want, I can just take my paper towel and dab it a little bit, and then the swirl lines will still show. So what you're going to do is go over your work, what shows up, go right to your edges, around that tree. Good, and you're going to see that those textured swirls show up. And I'm noticing one thing on my work. I forgot to erase those pencil lines before I started, and they're showing through a little bit. So you might like to do that, or you don't have to. It's up to you. And I'm going to put a little blue down below here. Ooh, I like that blue actually. I thought I was going to use more green, but I really like the way the blue mixes with my green that I put on with oil pastels and makes it really show up. So I might put a little bit of green. Ooh, that's not bad either. That green is a little bit blue-green because I had blue on my brush, and I think that looks very nice. So there we are. We're just about done. And you have a Van Gogh masterpiece. Don't forget when it's dry to take your Sharpie, sign the front, and then when you're ready, could you click on response, add a response, and send me a picture of your wonderful work. I can't wait to see it.